There are moments in life that divide our existence into two chapters: the chapter before the pain and the chapter after it. Sometimes it happens suddenly: a phone call, a betrayal, a rejection, a loss, a failure, a disappointment you never saw coming. One moment, everything feels normal. The next, your world is different. And in those moments, we often ask ourselves questions that seem impossible to answer. Why did this happen? Why now? Why me? Why did life allow this? Why did the people I trusted hurt me? Why did the dream I worked so hard for collapse? Why did the future I imagined disappear? These questions echo through the mind like thunder, and for a while they seem to have no answers. The pain feels unfair, heavy, unnecessary, meaningless. But what if the wound is not meaningless? What if there is something hidden inside it? What if your pain contains a message? What if your struggle contains a lesson? What if your greatest source of wisdom is currently disguised as suffering? Most people spend years running from pain, avoiding it, denying it, suppressing it. But healing does not begin when pain disappears. Healing begins when understanding arrives. Because pain alone changes nothing. Pain can make a person bitter. Pain can make a person angry. Pain can make a person hopeless. But when pain is understood, something extraordinary happens. It transforms. The wound becomes wisdom. The scar becomes strength. The struggle becomes insight. The suffering becomes purpose. And today we're going to explore how that transformation happens. Because the truth is this: the most powerful version of yourself may be waiting on the other side of the pain you're currently facing. If life were a teacher, pain would be one of its most effective lessons. Not because pain is pleasant, not because suffering is desirable, but because pain gets our attention. Think about it. When everything is going well, we rarely stop to examine ourselves. We rarely question our habits. We rarely challenge our assumptions. We rarely reflect deeply. Comfort often makes us unconscious, but pain wakes us up. Pain forces us to pay attention. Pain forces us to confront realities we have ignored. Pain exposes weaknesses we never knew existed. Pain reveals truths we were unwilling to see. Many people discover their strength only after life demands it. Many people discover their resilience only after facing hardship. Many people discover their purpose only after experiencing loss. The lessons that shape us most are often not learned in moments of victory. They are learned in moments of struggle, because struggle strips away illusions. It reveals what truly matters. It teaches us what success never could. And although we may hate the lesson while it is happening, years later we often realize it changed us forever. Not every wound becomes wisdom. Some wounds become prisons. The difference lies in what we do with them. There are people who experienced heartbreak 20 years ago and still live as though it happened yesterday. People who were rejected once and never took another chance. People who failed once and never tried again. People who were betrayed and decided never to trust anyone. The wound happened once, but they relive it every day. Their pain became an identity. Their suffering became a home. And without realizing it, they built their lives around the thing that hurt them. This is one of the greatest dangers in life. When pain stops being an experience and starts becoming who you are. You are not your trauma. You are not your heartbreak. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. Those things happened to you, but they are not you. The moment you begin separating your identity from your wounds is the moment healing becomes possible. Because wisdom begins when you stop saying, "This is who I am," and start saying, "This is what happened to me." There is a difference, and that difference changes everything. Imagine that every painful experience in your life arrived carrying a hidden gift. Not an obvious gift, not a pleasant gift, but a lesson, a truth, a piece of wisdom. The challenge is that pain often hides the lesson beneath emotion. When we're hurt, we focus on the suffering, not the teaching. But eventually, if we are willing to look deeper, we discover something valuable. The betrayal teaches discernment. The failure teaches resilience. The rejection teaches self-worth. The loneliness teaches self-reliance. The disappointment teaches patience. The hardship teaches gratitude. The setback teaches perseverance. Every wound contains information. The question is whether you will collect it. Some people experience the same painful lesson repeatedly because they never learned from it. Life keeps presenting the same examination until understanding arrives. The faces change. The circumstances change. The locations change. But the lesson remains until it is learned. And once it is learned, the wound begins to lose its power. The greatest tragedy is not pain. The greatest tragedy is suffering without growth. Think about that. Imagine enduring years of hardship, years of struggle, years of disappointment, and emerging exactly the same. No stronger, no wiser, no more compassionate, no more self-aware. That is a tragedy, because pain always costs something. If you're going to pay the price, take the lesson, extract the wisdom, find the growth. Never allow your suffering to be wasted. Let it shape you. Let it teach you. Let it refine you. Because one lesson learned from pain can save you years of future suffering. One moment of understanding can change an entire life. Look at a scar. A scar is fascinating. It is evidence of damage, but it is also evidence of healing. It proves that something hurt you, but it also proves that you survived. Many people look at their scars with shame. They wish they could erase them, hide them, forget them. But your scars tell a story of endurance, a story of resilience, a story of recovery. Every scar is proof that pain did not win. You are still here. You survived. You endured. You overcame. And that matters, because there were moments when you thought you wouldn't make it. Moments when you thought the heartbreak would destroy you. Moments when you thought the grief would consume you. Moments when you thought the struggle would never end. Yet here you are, still standing, still moving, still growing. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are evidence of strength. Gold becomes pure through fire. Steel becomes strong through pressure. Diamonds form through immense force. Nature itself teaches a profound lesson. Transformation often requires discomfort. Growth often requires struggle. Strength often requires resistance. The version of yourself that you want to become cannot emerge without challenge. Courage requires fear. Patience requires waiting. Discipline requires difficulty. Wisdom requires experience. And experience often includes pain. The goal is not to avoid every hardship. The goal is to become the kind of person who can grow through hardship, because every challenge contains an opportunity for transformation, and every storm carries the possibility of growth. One of the highest forms of wisdom is forgiveness, not because people deserve it, not because what happened was acceptable, but because carrying resentment is exhausting. Hatred feels powerful at first, but eventually it becomes a burden, a weight, a chain. Forgiveness is not about setting someone else free. It is about setting yourself free. It is about refusing to let yesterday control tomorrow. Refusing to let pain dictate your future. Refusing to allow someone else's actions to occupy permanent space in your mind. The day you forgive is often the day you begin reclaiming your life. And that is wisdom. One day you will look back on the hardest season of your life, and you will see something you cannot see right now. You will see how it shaped you, how it strengthened you, how it matured you, how it prepared you. You will realize that your wounds were not sent to destroy you. They were sent to develop you. The betrayal taught you wisdom. The failure taught you resilience. The rejection taught you confidence. The struggle taught you strength. The loss taught you gratitude. The pain taught you perspective. And suddenly, what once felt like a curse becomes a teacher. A painful teacher, but a teacher nonetheless. So don't waste your wounds. Don't allow them to become permanent prisons. Turn them into wisdom. Turn them into lessons. Turn them into strength. Turn them into purpose. Because the most inspiring people in the world are not those who never suffered. They are those who learned how to transform suffering into understanding, how to transform scars into strength, how to transform wounds into wisdom. And perhaps that is why you went through what you went through. Not to remain broken, but to become wiser. Not to remain wounded, but to become stronger. Not to remain trapped in pain, but to rise above it. Remember, your wounds are chapters, not conclusions. Your scars are reminders, not limitations. And your story is not over. The wound may have started the journey, but wisdom will finish it. One of the strangest things about suffering is that while you're going through it, it feels like destruction. It feels like loss. It feels like something is being taken away. And often, something is. A relationship, a dream, a sense of certainty, a version of yourself. But what many people fail to realize is that pain is not only taking something from you, it is also creating something within you. Think about the person you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even 1 year ago. You are not the same person. Life has changed you. Experience has changed you. Challenges have changed you. The things you've endured have shaped the way you think, the way you act, and the way you see the world. The person who has never been betrayed views trust differently from the person who has. The person who has never struggled views success differently from the person who has. The person who has never suffered views life differently from the person who has walked through darkness. Pain changes perspective, and perspective changes everything. Many of the qualities we admire most in people are qualities developed through adversity, compassion, patience, empathy, humility, resilience. These qualities rarely grow in comfort. They grow in challenge. They grow in struggle. They grow in moments when life forces us to confront reality. The problem is that while we're in the middle of the storm, we often focus only on what we're losing. We don't notice what we're gaining. We don't notice the wisdom. We don't notice the strength. We don't notice the maturity. We don't notice the character being built. But years later, we look back and realize something remarkable. The pain changed us, not always in the ways we expected, but often in the ways we needed. Sometimes the person who emerges from the struggle is stronger than the person who entered it, wiser than the person who entered it, more capable than the person who entered it. The wound hurt, but it also transformed. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to escape every form of discomfort. The moment pain appears, they run. The moment difficulty arrives, they quit. The moment life becomes challenging, they look for the fastest exit. And while that may bring temporary relief, it often prevents growth. Because some lessons can only be learned by walking through the experience. Not around it. Not under it. Not over it. Through it. Imagine a student walking out of every difficult class. Imagine an athlete quitting every difficult workout. Imagine a musician abandoning every difficult practice session. Growth would never happen. Mastery would never happen. Transformation would never happen. Yet this is exactly what many people do in life. They avoid every challenge, every difficult conversation, every uncomfortable truth, every painful reflection. And as a result, they remain stuck. The lesson they refuse to learn keeps returning. Different day, different circumstances, same lesson. Life has a way of repeating what we refuse to understand. Until understanding arrives. There is a quote that says, "What you resist persists." There is tremendous truth in that. The thing you avoid often becomes the thing that controls you. The fear you refuse to face grows stronger. The pain you refuse to process grows deeper. The lesson you refuse to learn keeps returning. Wisdom begins when you stop running, when you stop asking how to avoid every challenge, when you stop demanding that life be easy, and instead ask, what is this trying to teach me? That question can transform suffering into growth, because the purpose of pain is not merely to hurt. Sometimes its purpose is to reveal weaknesses that need strengthening, to reveal beliefs that need changing, to reveal patterns that need breaking, to reveal truths that need understanding. And when the lesson is finally learned, something amazing happens. The burden becomes lighter, not because the past changes, but because you change. There is another reason why your wounds matter, another reason why your struggles matter, another reason why your healing matters. Because somebody else is watching, somebody else is struggling, somebody else is hurting, somebody else is searching for hope, and they may find it in your story. Think about the books you've read, the speeches you've heard, the people you've admired, the stories that inspired you. What made them powerful? Usually it wasn't their success. It was their struggle. It was their ability to overcome, their willingness to keep going, their refusal to give up. People connect with scars. People connect with authenticity. People connect with stories of survival. When someone sees another human being rise from pain, it reminds them that they can rise too. Your healing gives others permission to heal. Your courage gives others permission to be courageous. Your resilience gives others permission to keep fighting. This is one of the most beautiful truths about wisdom. It multiplies when it is shared. The lesson you learned from suffering can become someone else's shortcut. The mistake you survived can help another person avoid years of pain. The wisdom you gained can become a light for someone walking through darkness. Never underestimate the value of your story. Never underestimate the power of your testimony. You may think your struggle was insignificant. You may think nobody cares. You may think your experience doesn't matter. But somewhere, someone is facing a battle you've already survived. And what feels ordinary to you may feel life-changing to them. The wound that once made you cry may eventually become the lesson that helps another person heal. And in that moment, your pain takes on a new meaning. It becomes purpose. There is a strange moment that arrives in the lives of many people. A moment they never expected. A moment they could never have imagined while they were suffering. A moment they were suffering. It is the moment they stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start saying, I'm grateful for what it taught me. Not grateful for the pain itself. Not grateful for the betrayal. Not grateful for the loss. But grateful for the growth. Grateful for the wisdom. Grateful for the person they became because of it. At first, this idea sounds impossible. How could anyone be grateful for suffering? But as the years pass, perspective changes. You begin to see connections. You begin to see lessons. You begin to see how one painful experience prepared you for another challenge. How one disappointment redirected your life. How one setback protected you from a worse outcome. How one failure developed skills you later needed. The pieces begin to fit together. And suddenly, what once felt meaningless begins to make sense. You realize that life was not only happening to you, it was also shaping you, preparing you, developing you. The pain was not the entire story. It was only one chapter. And because it was only one chapter, it never had the power to define the entire book. The book is still being written. The story is still unfolding. The future is still waiting. And the wisdom you gained from your wounds will help guide you there.